Welcome back, everybody. Oh, my Lions flag has been eaten by my house somewhere. I put it down one day, forgot about it, and poof, gone. So, Mother, if you're watching, send me another one. But what is going on, everyone? We are the Honolulu Blues boys, Nick, Adam, and Julius. We got the three trio here today. Gonna do a little 53-man roster full breakdown. And typically we usually have done kind of the odd man out, but now we are going to build suspense into that by naming off every single guy, Jared Goff, Hayden Hutchinson included. Gotta make sure they make the team, but it'll be fun. So boys, it seems like it's been a minute. Julius, anything happening in Germany? Any new Lions things going on, or what's been going on with you?
I mean, it's just a busy summer over here. It's the dog days. They're doing the European Championship over here. You know, all the countries are battling each other. It's like their, World Cup kind of. It's like their Super Bowl. Really, it's huge. So ain't nobody really thinking about football. But Amon-Ra St. Brown was just up in Cologne and Dusseldorf. He went to a couple of those European Championship games and held his annual football camp he does out here. And from the looks of it, we weren't able to make it. We had a lot of stuff going on, but from the looks of it, it was very successful. And he's just continuing to help grow the sport of football in Germany. And I'm sure the German public is going to be even more interested in the NFL this upcoming year.
Who is playing out in Germany this year? Do we know?
Who's playing in the championships? I think
no, not in the Euros. For the NFL. Like, what games being played in Germany this year?
Oh,
like Jaguars.
I don't even recall. I just know it wasn't the Lions. I think they're having a Munich game, but
yeah, there's a Munich game. Colts Patriots Week 9.
Horrible.
That would be a barn burner.
Drake May, Anthony Richardson. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
No.
And then we also have the Giants versus the Panthers. So.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Nobody want to watch. I would rather watch Drake May and Anthony Richardson over Daniel Jones and Bryce Young any day of my life, dude.
Yeah, that one is a tough one.
Yeah. I'm waiting on a Lions game in Germany while I'm here. Just like they're about to play Dallas, the Cowboys, and the Texans in Houston, two Texas teams, a place I lived at for 12 years. I'm just a traveling Lions, a suffering traveling Lions fan trying to catch these guys. But hey, I'll be in Detroit for some.
It'll happen.
You'll be here. I'll be watching the opener just like we did last year. We brought good luck to the Lions last year against Kansas City, 21-20. This year we'll bring the same luck against the Rams.
Do it again.
We'll get some predictions in for that too. Probably have 5 different predictions by the time that game comes around. We'll have the first season one, the second season one, the pregame, the double pregame, the tweet.
It's crazy to think we're only 2 months and a week away from that. 2 months, it does kind of sound like a long time, but really July is the fastest month in the world. You have so much fun in the month of July that it just flies by. And next thing you know, it's August. We get preseason. We were just talking before the show, 39 days away from our first preseason football game. We'll be seeing Hendon Hooker airing it out to Simone Vaki. It's going to be awesome. We get to see all these guys in Honolulu Blue uniforms. Can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. I actually do think preseason games will be kind of back, I guess, where it's hey, I know all these rookies. I'm actually following the Lions the last 2-3 years, as opposed to 5 years to even 3 years ago. It was oh, sweet, Tom Kennedy's playing. Yes, sir. You knew one dude. Yeah. And it was oh, Stafford's going to play the first series. Oh, hell yeah, I'll be there. And now it's sweet, we get to watch some Hendon Hooker, see how Antonio Green's looking, Simone Vaki.
To be all honest, too, I bet we only get one home preseason game this year, and it's the last one. It's the last game of the season, last game of the preseason against Pittsburgh. And I believe it's a Saturday 1:00 game. I'm pretty sure. I think it's gonna be electric in Ford Field. I think it's gonna be for the first half, and I don't think starters are going to play, but it doesn't matter for the first half with like Hendon Hooker out there. Any good throw he does, it's just going to light up. It's going to be so intense. It's just like it's the fans' preseason game, like, and it's going to be louder than any preseason game ever in the world. So I'm very excited. Very.
Gonna be a fun one. It's always nice to be able to get hyped about preseason games.
Like, yeah, amen.
Seems like still a Detroit sports team that you can get pumped about a non-regular season, non-playoff game right now.
Yeah,
maybe the Red Wings. Maybe the Red Wings.
We're so invested into the team now,
Most definitely, and it's funny because you look forward to this. Like it's about this time. You like in March, you are not looking forward to preseason. In April, you're like, I don't really care about preseason. In May, you're like, preseason. But then end of June, July, you're like, it has been so long since I've watched football. I just had to watch these UFL games. Like, I just want to see professionals play this sport. Please let me watch football. I've just been rewatching old football, like videos and documentaries and film just over and over and over. It is all, I am just sucked into it right now.
Well,
baby.
We still got one more awesome documentary coming. It's kind of like not completely focused on our boy, but our boy Amon-Ra will be a part of Receivers July 19th that airs on Netflix. I'm pretty sure they will drop all the episodes on July 19th. I don't think it'll be like a week by week type thing. So that will be cool. Binge all those as fast as possible if you want.
Also, July 7th on HBO Max, we get the first offseason Hard Knocks with the New York Giants, which will be interesting to see with the deal with like Saquon Barkley leaving and, them debating on getting a quarterback and end up getting Neighbors. Like that's going to be super interesting. They end up getting Brian Burns throughout the offseason. So just football, dude. I want everything. Did you guys ever watch the Matthew Stafford documentary that came out this year? It's like about an hour long.
So. No.
It's super.
Didn't know that.
Oh,
what's it on?
Super cool. I think I just saw on YouTube or maybe NFL Network, but I bet
was it the NFL Films one?
Yeah, it was like the NFL.
I believe I caught it on TV as well when it came out.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
Well, as you guys know, Tight End U has been going on right now. The big tight end, I guess, extravaganza that's been put on by guys like Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen, and George. Well, it's mostly Greg Olsen, George Kittle. Now kind of Travis Kelce has branched into the big group. But those three guys are the ones running it. They bring in pretty much any tight end who wants to come be a part of it. They'll bring it in. Our boy Shane Zylstra was there. So it's not just for the superstars. If you're a lower class tight end, go work there. So we did see Sam Laporta is there, and Sam Laporta has been getting some nice rave reviews. Travis Kelce, he was getting interviewed, I believe, by Taylor Lewan, asked him, can you give us who the best tight end is? And right off the bat, he said, Sam Laporta, man, he had a killer year last year. I want to see what he does next year, as do we all. And Luan kind of responded with like a thank you. You actually gave a one-person answer and didn't just beat around the bush, said, all these guys are doing great, And he gave his first thought, which was Sam Laporta. So that's a nice little, I guess, gracing by Travis Kelce. I don't know. But nonetheless, it definitely covers up what the bullshit that Madden did to us, boys. I don't know if you guys saw this a few weeks ago, but Madden literally put Sam Laporta as the 14th best ranked tight end in the game. The 14th. There was guys like, I don't even know, Njoku. I want to say he was the best second-year guy, and I believe that's what they were going off, like, he's only been in the league 2 years. But no, Laporta showed that he is at least a top 5 caliber tight end. They had Dalton Schultz, Pat Fry, Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet ahead of this guy, which I don't even understand. But
bro, that got to be a glitch. That got to be wrong, bro. That got to be wrong. There's no way that Madden ranked Cole Kmet higher than Sam Laporta.
So the game's not out yet, so they might be able to change some things.
I got it on pre-order. It's gonna be downloaded on August 15th on my PlayStation 5. But if it come with that, I'm gonna destroy the game. I'm gonna set it on fire. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna get a refund.
That's just one of those things where it's like, come on, man, give us Lions some respect.
It's not even. It's like, how can you think that? How can you make a game and put all these attributes and think That's very true. But
Speaking
how?
of Komet,
Not even just Cole Kmet. Like Cole Kmet, I think even might be the argument. But there's Gerald Everett is in front of him.
he's a
Kyle
tight end
Pitts.
too. Yeah.
Just because he was drafted fourth, Kyle Pitts has declined every single season and is to a point where Jonnu Smith was outperforming him on a weekly basis last year. How? Because is he 6 spots ahead of Sam Laporta? That's stupid, and it is because they give like this advantage to the veterans, and it's like, no, dude, that's not how the NFL works. And in fact, the older you get, the worse you get to a degree. There is a fine line. Like it's terrible, dude. It's so terrible. Laporta should have been the third best tight end behind. I'll give Mark Andrews over him, and that's it. And then Kelsey.
Yeah, I think it's like, so they have Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews as the top 3, and I think Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, Laporta. Honestly, you could order them any way you want, and 1 to 4. I probably wouldn't debate any of it.
They put Hawkinson as a 90, the 4th best tight end, and they're just trying to do that because they know that Detroit.
Listen, it's one of the other, boys. It's one of the other. It's either Madden is like they're full of like Packer and Bear fans or something that's like infiltrated into the ratings team,
Right.
or they're just a bunch of nerds that don't know nothing about football at all. It's one or the other, bro.
It is, dude.
They don't got football guys in the ratings room. There's no way, like unbiasedly.
And it's weird too because they do this stuff like every year where they'll have just one blatant or maybe multiple blatant misses where it's like, if you guys literally just watched the NFL, you would know, like, even if the stats say, oh, Gerald Everett had more, touchdowns. Oh, Cole Kmet had more, 30-yard, something stupid like that where they look up based off stats. It's like, if you just watch the Lions play, which now I will say the Lions are going to be on lots of prime time, lots of TVs nationwide. So maybe next year we see Laporta as the tight end 2 or even the tight end 1 overtaking Kelsey, which I could see.
Hey guys, I hate to be the conspiracy theorist here, but I just looked up the headquarters of EA Sports football division. Redwood City, California. That's right outside San Francisco. Listen, we got some Niner fans, some nerdy Silicon Valley Niner fans that don't give a H about the Lions. They fear us, actually. They fear us.
Yeah, they do. They do. They know that they got super lucky last year, and that ain't ever happening again, Yeah.
So outside of tight end news, there hasn't really been a whole lot. The Pistons just recently, a few hours ago, hired a new head coach, JB Bickerstaff, came from the Cleveland Cavaliers, was with the Cavs for I think the last 3-4 years. Kind of built him up when LeBron and Kyrie and all that, they left him for pretty much dead essentially. And he got some good dudes like, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and even Donovan Mitchell. So they made that trade for him. I guess it's another one of these Pistons hirings of we go out and hire a good coach that dominated in the regular season, but just couldn't hit his max potential, which is why he ended up getting fired from the Cavs this year. So for me, I don't know. It's interesting. He did inherit a horrible Cavs team. He kind of built him up, but we'll see, I guess. He's younger than, I will say the other thing is he's kind of younger than Casey and Monty were. Casey was 61 when he was hired. Monty was, I believe, 51. JB Bickerstaff is 45. So maybe, kind of getting a little younger in the age. We're starting to see that with the JJ Redicks getting hired. It's kind of the new era, hire a young coach and see what he can do. But nonetheless, he did have some experience, rebuilding the Cavs, like I mentioned. But other than that, with the Pistons, it's kind of just no one really cares until they start winning games.
Yep. In fact, we should have hired someone like Skip Bayless to be our goddamn.
Bro, I don't get it with the Pistons. You cannot, can you not interview? We don't have to know who the coach is.
Just draw a name out of a hat.
No, I'm just saying, they can interview somebody.
Behind
he's recycled. He's recycled from the Cavs. He's recycled from John. Right. They hired him when John Beeline retired. He was a failure with the Grizzlies at his last stop. We might as well have kept Monty. I mean,
Monty didn't care. Hopefully this guy at least cares. My
Yeah, I
dog
hope
could
he's
have been a
there,
better coach
and I
than
hope he
Moss.
wins. I'm numb to the Pistons, dog. I'm numb.
The thing is, the Pistons roster, I mean, we get Tim Hardaway Jr. now, who needs to be the best shooter in the world for us to even be somewhat competitive. But we go out and draft Asur Thompson 2.0, shot 25% from behind the line, but he's young, and that's what we get. Asur young, Jalen Duren young. All these guys are young. It's going to take 5-6 years for these guys. Like Jalen Brunson's in his 5th or 6th year in the league, and he's just now coming into his own. And by the way, what the Knicks are doing, like signing every single person that went to Villanova for their championship run, is the smartest thing in the damn world. Like we should be doing that. But I'm just saying, like we got to wait 5-6 years. It's just going to be such a shit show for the next 3. Just keep acquiring talent. And hopefully one day we can win one playoff game.
We do have it's like $60 million in cap.
Yeah, we got 50 million.
And I think we have to spend it. Like it's some little tax
Brandon Ingram, right? It's Brandon Ingram or nothing.
Brandon Ingram.
Gotta be somebody to inject life into us.
I'll do it. Pay me $50 million. I'll go do it. I'll probably be the 4th best shooter on the team behind Sasser, behind Cade, and Tim Hardaway. Put me, and I'm shooting. Bro. I'm right there.
You're right, Nick. You're right. They need it bad.
Like who? Honestly, you put me on a 3-point contest with Asur Thompson, and I'll bet you I win. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I bet you I win.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, Trajan Langdon, our new president, is just like has some sort of secret sauce that he can turn non-shooters into shooters, because we got a few of those guys, and it's not just like a few guys that are on the roster. This is like highly invested early talent type players, and like even like Jaden Ivey, he can get hot time to time. I've seen him go 6 for 6 from 3, but there'll be games where he goes like 1 for 7, 1 for 5, and it's like 4 games in a row he'll shoot like 20-25% from 3. So if he can somehow ignite, Ron Holland, Ausar Thompson, and Ivy into just like 2 of those guys become elite shooters somehow, then hey, we'll be in a good spot. I will say the other kind of, half glass full type mentality is Langdon went out and got his guys who he thought would be the best. And if he believes he can turn these guys around, can make them, better shooters, and he does, then we have a good president, good GM, whatever. Similar to what Brad Holmes kind of did, where we didn't really know this guy. We kind of let him come in. He did his thing with the first draft. Then the second draft, it was, I don't know. Third draft, we're like the Gibbs situation. People were freaking out. And now we are just 100% sold because this dude has just made it work time in, time out. So hopefully, knock on wood.
You being too hopeful, Adam. You being too hopeful, Adam. You are being too hopeful. Let me tell you about the Pistons. It's a good point you brought up about Trajan Langdon, kind of being an unknown Brad Holmes type, and you can build on it. The fact that they hired Bickerstaff, and I'm going to need a Dan Campbell kneecaps press conference from Bickerstaff or I'm not sold, because that's when I started believing as a Lions fan, not when they hired Holmes, when Campbell gave that first press conference and he made us all believe.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Holmes, he made us believe with his results.
So, what if Bickerstaff literally just took took Campbell's speech and just like Chat GPT reworded it into like NBA words and like
that it showed me that he at least cares enough to do that.
Yeah, and that was the thing with Monty too. Monty he did not care. And I do think Bickerstaff being fired from the Cavs, I think this tells you, hey, if you don't succeed here, you are an assistant coach at best the rest of your career, unless, you fall into another head coaching job due to, a Celtics situation or something like that. So got something to prove. We'll see. It's right now. Every Pistons fan is like, well, I'm not watching until you show me something to watch for.
No, hell no, dude. I'm not watching a Pistons game. I'll watch the first 30 minutes of the first game when we're down 20. I'll be like, all right, Red Wings.
Yeah, it's like we want to get back to the days where people go to Pistons games to watch actual Pistons players, because that's how it is with the Lions. You go to Lions games now to watch Amon-Ra, to go Goff, Hutchinson. Back then it was like, oh, we're playing you know, we're playing the Chiefs. I'm going to go watch Pat Mahomes, or like we're playing the Colts and Peyton Manning. Ah, sweet. I'm going to go watch Peyton Manning. And now I could care less who the Lions play. I will go watch them play the Titans and be just as happy as watching them play the Texans and all their superstars. Right now, the Pistons, everyone is just coming to watch. Oh, LeBron James is coming to town. Hell yeah, I'll be there.
Oh, look at this team that dunks off of trampolines during the first quarter. I love these guys, man. This is what I came to see right here.
But I will say, I don't think it can get worse for the Pistons. We are kind of at rock bottom. But yeah, Nick, you
haven't set the record for most losses in a season yet, so there's still a little bit. I thought we were going to last year, but
it's just been stings in a wound that we haven't had. Like, we only got Cade so far. That's just
dude. How
it kills me inside that's all we have.
The Spurs freaking got Victor Wembanyama, this like LeBron James type talent. And they were still picking fourth, one pick ahead of the Pistons. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, the draft sucks. And then they trade back and they get the guy that I wanted the Pistons to get, which was Dillingham. Dillingham.
Yeah, I wanted Dillingham too. I wanted Dillingham or Ron Holland, solely based off of my NBA 2K23 experience, if you guys saw that tweet. But yeah, man, Ron Holland, I had him on my 2023 2K team where like they only have the 2024 rookies like implemented. So anything farther than that, you have to like find a created roster or whatever. So, you know, there's lots of people that do these download things. And the number one download, I downloaded that one, drafted Ron Holland, and dude became a 90 overall by year 2 and was a complete superstar. So who knows?
Hopefully, yeah, that's a foreshadow of real life. Yeah.
All right, enough of this Pistons talk. Let's talk about something a little happier. Our boy Jared Goff, he finally got a ring. Not a Super Bowl ring, but a marriage ring. He got married to his lovely wife. I cannot remember her name, but she is, everyone knows her, the swimsuit model. She's an absolute nice lady, as I will say. But congrats to Jared Goff for doing that. Not sure if that will change his play, playing for a wife as opposed to a fiance. So we'll see how that goes. But if he has a kid now, then I will definitely, Jared Goff stock will be bumping up. So first, you know, lock down the wife. Now let's start having some babies, Goff. You need something extra to play for. You need that baby power. We see all our offensive linemen having kids. And next thing you know, we got the number one offensive line in the league. So who knows?
That's a hilarious take. I think it's the opposite. I think if you have a kid, then you got too much to worry about at home. Like, don't have any kids. Like, just go.
So I think that like first year when you have a kid where it's like, hey, I'm the NFL player. I don't got time to, you know, take care of him every day, and we got to figure this out. Then it's like, I'm playing for my kid. This is my baby. You know, I'm going to show him what's up, you know. And then once the kids get 3, 4, 5, 6, it's like, well, I got to go attend, you know.
Fuck these kids.
Exactly. Fuck these kids. All right, boys. Let's get into the nitty gritty. What everyone's been waiting for, the old 53-man roster. It should be fun. So I think let's start off with quarterbacks. I don't think any of us will have any surprises. Goff, Hooker. Anyone opposed? We keep in a third one. There is that rule where we can keep Sudfeld, not have him use a roster spot. So I don't think we would roster 3 quarterbacks. But if any of you guys are crazy out there, speak now.
I have 3 quarterbacks on my roster: Goff, Hooker, and Nate Sudfeld. Because I am not totally 100% sold that Hooker is ready to be the primary backup to Jared Goff heading into the season. And until I am, it makes sense to me that you carry a third quarterback just in case you have to switch things up due to injury or poor performance. And I'm hopeful for Hooker. I'm just not sold. I need to see training camp. I need to see a couple preseason games. And then I'll be, you know, and then we do our 53-man roster prediction right before the roster comes out. I might just have a 2 quarterback room, but right now I got 3.
Interesting. Thoughts on that, Nick?
I did not keep Nate Sudfeld. I do not think we keep 3 quarterbacks. I get
what Julius is saying, though. because like right before preseason, because if Hooker's just like
If he's not doing well,
looking
what
like a
option do
mess.
they have? You
Yeah,
know,
but
and
the
that option
reports
could
that we
be
got from minicamp and stuff like that wasn't like that. Like Hooker had been doing well. I just don't foresee that happening. I think he's going to come out in preseason and damn near take Goff's position. Honestly,
I hope so, bro.
I think Hooker is. I still think Hooker's legit. I still think Hooker was the best quarterback from the draft last year, and that includes C.J. Stroud. We just aren't seeing Hooker right now. I think C.J. Stroud regressed. My God, and even with the addition of Mixon and Diggs, I just think Hooker's really good. I think Hooker's arm is so good. We just don't know. And we're gonna see like a couple 60-yard bombs in the preseason, and we're all gonna be like,
Whoa.
get that to Jameson right now. Like, Goff, what are you doing, dude? Just learn from him. So that's just my personal opinion. So I did not keep Saban.
I like it. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, Nick. But Julius, you make a good point here. Where if it's just like we need someone that knows the system. And Suds has been with us, I think, the last like 3 years.
You're Spillman. You're the tiebreaker, Adam.
I like Hook. I'm keeping 2. Hooker and Goff. There was a couple other guys that I had to fit my way onto this roster. So if I kept Sudfeld, I probably would have had to keep my next surprise, who had running backs. I kept 4 running backs. Did anyone else keep 4?
I also had 4.
4.
I got 4 running backs.
All right. So let's see if we got the same. Gibbs and Monty, I assume. Craig Reynolds. And I took Simone Vaki as that 4th guy.
Those are my 4 as well. Those are also my 4.
All right, I like it. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So some of my reasonings behind Vaki is I don't think he'll be a true like RB4. I think he's just going to be all around. I wouldn't be surprised if I would be surprised if he did line up at safety, but special teams. I feel like he's going to be a special teams role player. I feel like we're going to have maybe some gadget plays if, Gibbs is out, and he kind of follows behind what Gibbs does, because Gibbs is, a pass catcher. He's electric. He's fast. He can, juke guys out. And Vaki, similar style player, but more of just like a Kroger brand. Jameer Gibbs.
I like a Kroger brand. Nothing wrong with the Kroger brand.
Exactly, though. There's nothing wrong with the Kroger brand.
Value brand or the quality, whatever it is. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. I thought the big one for this was not keeping Jamar Jefferson as that 5th running back. Obviously, fighting Vaki. And you can put Vaki at safety. He's just the Swiss Army knife. And you don't just draft someone and then try to get him to your practice squad because he can go sign anywhere if you cut him before they get to practice squad. If anything, maybe Jamar Jefferson comes back, but not just him. Bam Knight is also on the team, who I believe we re-signed this year.
Yeah, I think we did give him something.
So that's a position battle that we're going to be seeing between Jamar Jefferson, Bam Knight, Vaki, and I thought there was one more running back. I don't have the list up. I should, but yeah. So it's
Jake
interesting
Funk.
that we all did that. Craig Reynolds. Wait, what?
Jake Funk was our 6th.
That's right. Thank you. Who was an old Los Angeles Rams running back who played in a game or 2 for them. But the thing is honestly, out of all this, Craig Reynolds could be a cap casualty. And I love Craig. I love his story. But out of all these guys, out of everyone on the team, if we're trying to keep Bam Knight or someone, Jamar Jefferson, it could come down to Craig Reynolds not being on the team. But we showed that we got trusted him. He scored a touchdown against Tampa Bay in the playoff game. I don't think he's going anywhere yet.
And Craig, he made that insane block for Amon-Ra at Tampa Bay. So it's
I see Reynolds and Vaki can be interchangeably special teams and running back 3, and in Vaki, he could play receiver. He could play fullback. I don't think y'all heard the in-depth reports out of camp. This dude is the Swiss Army knives of Army knives, nickel linebackers, just crazy. It's crazy.
He's going to be that new meme. I'll have to get it ready where it's Spice Adams. He's I play quarterback, running back, defense, wide receiver, tight end, coach, offensive line coach, kicker. I'm that's Simone Vaki.
That's Vaki. That's Vaki, dog.
All right, wide receivers. I believe this is where we are going to have our first little debate, mainly because the Lions, we didn't retain, Josh Reynolds, We didn't bring back DJ Chark. The wide receiver 3 spot is a little murky. We're kind of like thrusting JMO into this wide receiver 2 spot, hoping he could take command like he should and like he kind of showed down the last few games of the season. But Amon-Ra, JMO, I believe we both have them. Khalif, we all got Khalif?
Yep.
All right, all got Khalif. All right, now here's where the fun begins. I went DPJ as my wide receiver 4. Anyone leave off Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Nope, I got him.
Also my wide receiver 4.
All right, now the final 2. Here's the tricky ones. I had Antoine Green. You know, we spent a draft pick on him last year. Granted, it was like a 7th rounder, but he did have like a 60 or like 80-yard touchdown pass in the preseason. I think he did play a couple snaps in the regular season last year, but I think he's going to get some sort of shot, and I think he's going to show it in preseason. I like this dude. I think he's going to be, you know, something special because Brad Holmes doesn't miss on his draft picks, and I don't expect, you know, I guess who was our cornerback that just went to the 49ers? He's the first dude that Brad Holmes drafted, but he's not on the team anymore.
Chase Lucas.
Chase Lucas, yes, sir. So I do think that Antoine Green will not join the Chase Lucas company, and I think he will stay on the roster. So anyone not keep Green?
I got Green as wide receiver 5.
Same here. We got the first 5
All right,
together.
here we go. This is number 6.
Great minds think alike, boys.
I think this is
Now, this is the one we all disagree on, wide receiver 6.
I think this is the year Mr. Tom Kennedy finally earns himself a roster spot for the Detroit Lions. I just think he's going to work his ass off, and I think he's going to want it more. He's been just on this cusp cut line. He's played a couple regular season games with the Lions. He's a preseason phenom. He's a fan favorite. He signed up my little brother's, ironically, Barry Sanders jersey, but he wanted to get it signed. He just wanted a signature. So yes, Tom Kennedy signed Barry Sanders jersey.
That's
one
great.
of one. So shout out to him for doing that too. And he even said, he was like, "Are you sure you want me to sign the Barry jersey?" And my little bro was like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, just let him have the moment.
That's so funny.
No, I got Tom Kennedy. I got TK at wide receiver 6. I think he's like if you ever need him in a pinch to replace Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you need him for like a quarter to replace him, he'll give you some good work. And I believe that's good enough for that wide receiver 6 spot. And he's kind of staked his claim in the community, like you said, Adam. He goes everywhere with the Lions. He's involved. It's not like he's just some backup, just disappearing in the background. No. He's here. And he's my wide receiver 6 this year.
I have Tom Kennedy as my number 1 practice squad guy. I think he goes to the practice squad. I only kept 5 wide receivers.
I like that, Nick. See, that's a nice little alternate route going. Save that spot for someone else because it's true. We got guys like Vaki. We got guys like even like Zylstra that are, you know, weapons that weren't on the team last year and now are. I guess Zylstra was, but he was injured. So, all right, Nick sticks with the 5. So we'll have to keep that in mind for you, Nick. So you're 1 behind me and Julius. So if you know
Julius has 3 quarterbacks, so I'm tied with him right now.
Yeah.
I don't really know how it's going, but
you have 2 less players than I do right now.
Yeah, so Julius is +1. I'm even. Nick, you're -1 right now.
I don't know how this is working.
That makes sense.
Hey,
Julius has 1 more.
I think
Yeah,
I'm winning.
we'll figure it out.
I've got 2 more players than Nick has right now. I have 1 extra quarterback and an extra receiver. So those 2 positions went somewhere else with Nick.
But on our collective roster, we are, because it was 2-1, we are putting Tom Kennedy on here.
Okay. Oh yeah.
On our communal roster,
Right.
because 2
That's
out
fair.
of 1.
That's how we broke the quarterback tie too. So
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
All right, tight ends. This one's an interesting one because, like I just mentioned, Shane Zylstra, who we'll get to him in a second, but wasn't injured last year, made the team the previous year before, a friend of the show as well. So can we do that? Can we cut him? I don't think so. But I got Laporta, Brock Wright, and Zylstra. I'm only keeping 3 tight ends. I think James Mitchell is going to be the odd man out. I don't know. I feel like Zylstra has built up a massive repertoire with all these Lions players. You saw him at tight end. You saw him going to Red Wings games, Tigers games with like Jared Goff. Some of these other like Brock Wright, some of these other bigger name players. And James Mitchell. It's not that I haven't seen that. I guess I haven't, but I just think his time has come with the Lions. I feel like Zylstra, we really want to give him another shot. So I'm only keeping 3 tight ends, though. Anyone keep more than 3 tight ends? Ooh, Nick, let's hear it.
I got 4, and it's those 3, and I added Mitchell. I did keep Zylstra. I thought Zylstra was probably the 53rd man on this team. It was the debate between Kennedy, Zylstra, and like 2 other guys that we'll get to for that 53rd spot. And I just think, for Detroit, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, Dan Campbell, probably because Dan Campbell was a tight end and was a tight ends coach, the dude just loves having a ton of tight ends. Like, give him as many tight ends as he can. So I got 4. I kept Laporta, Wright, Mitchell, and Zylstra.
Yeah, I got 3, just like you, Adam. I kept Laporta, Wright, and Zylstra. I think Mitchell's time is coming to a close. Is he still practice squad eligible? Because that's probably where he could end up. But I just don't see anybody else. Plus, like I said, with Vaki being such a Swiss Army knife, he can move around in a way that kind of adds to tight end fullback action. I don't know. I feel like they got a plan for Vaki. Like Vaki got my brain warped with like this whole thing with Ben Johnson, but I got 3 tight ends. I'm not counting the long snapper, which is technically counted as a tight end on the roster, but I got
long snapper as its own position.
I got him at his own position as well with special teams. So I got 3 traditional tight ends. Zylstra is tight end 3.
I like it. Yeah, right, James Mitchell.
Mitchell's out.
His contract is, he's still on his rookie deal. So if we cut him, we're saving close to $1 million. It's like probably like 900,000 ish, which
I don't mean nothing, dude. That's chump change, dude.
I don't know, man. But see, it's like if you get 3 of those guys.
Contract. What is Zylstra being paid?
Let me see.
What do you think it is?
Hopefully more. Because
$1 million.
That's not a big deal.
We'll get there to it in a minute. But nonetheless, Nick, unfortunately, I think you're the odd man out on this
one. Yet again. That's all right.
All right, we are diving into the offensive linemen. We categorize all offensive linemen as just offensive linemen, so you're not going to see, we're not doing 2 centers, 3 centers. Maybe someone wants to have 3 centers. We'll get there. And honestly, if you do, you find yourself picking a third, right guard or third player, and mention it. But if not, we'll just go offensive linemen and offensive linemen. So I guess let's just start with the big dogs first. And if anyone has, any surprise cuts, then we can go from that. But Frank, Sewell, Decker, Zietler, and Graham, I think those are going to be our 5 starters. Behind them is where we'll get interesting. I'm not really sure how we'll do this, but let's go one by one, see if you guys have him or not. Colby Sorsdale, we got him?
I got him.
I do not have Colby Sorsdale.
Do not. Okay. All right. So we'll put a little mark on him. We'll come back to that one in a second. Our draft pick, Giovanni Manu. Think he makes the team?
I got him.
I got him as well. Yeah. Friend of the show, Dan Skipper, Mr. I can play every offensive line position, and I was not eligible because it was Taylor Decker. Is he on the team?
I got him.
Oh, I got him too. Whew, Nick.
I know.
We'll come back to that, though.
I know. It was tough.
So, Mahogany? Got the old Mahogany wood?
This is the only rookie I didn't keep. I hope he comes to our practice squad. I think he comes to our practice squad and we don't keep him on the 53-man roster to start.
Interesting. Nick, I'm going to need to hear some of these offensive linemen you had, because there's 2 on my list that you do not have on your list. And my
Adam, you've already named all 8 of mine.
Okay.
I've only got 8, and the only one I kept that you guys didn't say was a guy that I can never pronounce his last name, but I'm just gonna go with Nisi. I don't even know how to say it, but Michael Nisi. He's the backup center.
Okay. So I did not keep Nisi, believe it or not. So I
got Glasgow as my backup center.
Yeah.
I got Glasgow as my backup center, even though he's the starting guard. So I didn't keep Nisi.
I think that's where my brain was at as well, Julius. But I did keep, I believe, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I kept 10 offensive line.
Woo!
I think we're going to be
deep. A backup for every position.
I did make sure everyone had a backup. And we've seen this with, like, we got Zietler, old man, Decker. He's getting up there too. Frank Ragnow, does he even have toes? I don't know, but we got some guys that could drop at any moment. And then Penei Sewell, it's like he's a freak, but everyone's got to get injured at some point, unless you're, like Cal Ripken Jr. or someone else. But nonetheless, I'm prepared to make sure we have an awesome offensive lineman the entire season, even though some of these backups won't, suffice as well as a Decker or a Sewell would. But nonetheless, my final guy was Keudi. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Keudi Awasika. I don't know. The dude from Philly. He appeared in a few games last year, but that's my 10. So the two that I guess, I don't know how we'll do this, but the two that were the kind of debated were Colby Swordsdale and Dan Skipper. That's actually, and Mahogany too. So there's 3 guys.
So we have our 5. I think because 2 of us went 8 and 1 went 10.
We go 8.
We go 8.
8? Okay.
So then the 3 backups sounds like we all had Manu.
So, all right. So we have to keep one out of Swordsdale, Skipper, or Mahogany is what it's coming down to. So we got 7 altogether consensus. And then
you
the
guys
8.
both had Skipper. We both had Swordsdale. And you both had Mahogany.
Manu. Yeah, or Mahogany.
Is that 8 there?
That's what we got.
So I guess let's just redo it. Those 3: Skipper, Mahogany, and Swordsdale.
This is fun. All right,
pick one. Who are we keeping? I think I'm going Dan Skipper. He's played everywhere. He's gotten better and better. He seems to be, not a big piece of, the Lions team, but I feel like he has some sort of heart in him where it's like, in the locker room, this dude is a big locker room piece.
Wait, we're picking 2 of these, right? We have our 5 starters, Manu, and then that's it right now, right?
You're right.
Yeah, and then we're picking 2. Yeah.
So we're picking someone to cut, I thought is what we're doing.
We're picking one to cut between those 3.
Yeah.
Neither of you guys had Coyote, right? Because that's
no, we didn't have Coyote.
Okay, he's for sure out. Yes, okay, then that makes sense. Cut 1, correct, Nick. So for me, I am probably cutting Swordsdale just because I believe in Brad Holmes' drafting abilities, and Mahogany is going to be the next Penei Sewell or superstar.
I am also a fan of Mahogany. I think he's going to be pretty good from the beginning, good enough to be a reserve guard from the beginning and overtake Swordsdale, who I think will end up on the practice squad. And then I got Dan Skipper. I mean, I just feel like he can play all over the line. They put him at guard. They put him at tackle. He can play that offensive tackle 6. He played a lot last year where he was a swing tackle. He took over from Matt Nelson. I think he did a pretty decent job. He's a Campbell guy. He's a grit guy. He's been here since, Hard Knocks, getting cut, friend of the show. I'm going Dan Skipper.
All right.
So I will cut Swordsdale. I will cut Swordsdale.
We both are cutting Swordsdale. So it doesn't matter what I say. Swordsdale's gone. But
give me your pitch, Nick.
Yes. Yeah. If anything, I would be keeping Swordsdale. I think it is tough as a rookie to step in and play offensive line for the demanding the way that Dan Campbell wants his players to play. We saw guys like Broderick, who's obviously on defense line, but like Broderick Martin and other rookies, like not just jump right into play. It doesn't matter where you're picked or who you are if you can't do it. But then we've also seen rookies like Rodrigo just step in and play. I just don't know if Mahogany will be able to do that this year. I, again, think he gets cut and then comes to our practice squad to start his career. And we run with Sorsdale one more year as he's finally starting to really kind of come into his own in his third year in the NFL. But again, doesn't matter what I say. You guys have already decided Mahogany stays and Sorsdale leaves.
Offense complete.
Yep.
All right.
Let me jump over here real quick. I did want to bring this up so we have it ready to go. For anyone that watched, hold on, let me jump to it actually. Here we go. For anyone who watched the election, that was terrible. But because of it, we got this awesome new shirt. Holmes Campbell 2024. Make sure you go out and get that. It is awesome. We just dropped it yesterday, so you'll be the first person on the block to have it. But if you don't like that, we do have other shirts. President of POTUS right here with Dan Campbell, Golf Fence, who just got married, Honolulu Blue Believer, MCDC. A lot of good shirts. You just go to athletelogos.com and then find your way to Detroit. You can go to collect/collection/Detroit to get there. But it's very cool. We have a lot of fun shirts. Show your love. Order them up. Wear them out. We'd love it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So speaking of elections, not getting into the actual election, but do you guys think we will get, we have no way of really knowing it unless someone takes a picture and posts it on Twitter or something like that. Do you think there are going to be some Detroiters that will be like, I'm not voting for either of these guys. I'm writing in Dan Campbell, you know?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
I might be like, I honestly, I can't vote for either of these guys. I can't do it. I can't.
I guarantee Dan Campbell
in Michigan.
in Detroit, Dan Campbell is going to have at least 1,000 write-in votes in Detroit. I guarantee it.
Yep.
I hope it's just big enough to where it's like, and shocking enough, our own Detroit head coach Dan Campbell had 0.3% of the vote in Michigan. We're just like,
that would be crazy. I would go back to this clip. We going back to this clip on this show right now.
That would, we'd bring that back up. That's
so you never know. Honestly, those two guys seems like the best options right now. But defense, boys, this is where it's going to get interesting. I've been saying that about every position, but now I'm serious. Defensive line, let's start out with. We'll just go with the top guys. We have Hutch, no brainer. DJ Reader, no brainer.
How many people did you? Okay. How many defensive line did you keep?
I had 10. I had 5 defensive ends, 5 defensive tackles.
I kept 9.
Oh,
we're keeping 10.
Well, yes. Sorry, Julius.
You're out.
Hutch, Reader, Aleem. I think those guys are no-brainers. We just signed Marcus Davenport from the Vikings. I do believe that he will be at least making the team, maybe not starter. A couple other guys that not rookies, but still young dudes. Josh Paschal, James Houston. We both have them.
Yep.
All right. Levi. Do we think Levi makes it for his last year, or is he a?
I got Levi.
I got Levi too. Ooh, Nick. No Levi and keeping 10. So that means Nick's got a couple interesting ones. All right. Nick, I'm going to pass this one to you. Give me one of your surprise guys that you think maybe we don't or not both of us has that you have, I guess.
I like that idea, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read the next guy on my list, which is John Kaminsky.
Who I also have.
I did not have John Kaminsky.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Last year, I don't know, man. That was a big decline. I do think he is a minor cap casualty. I think we could save a couple bucks by cutting him. I forget what it was, but once we get talking, I'll bring it back. But yes, John Kaminsky I did not have. Julius, give me your next guy.
I mean, yeah, I had John Kaminsky. You know, I think another Campbell guy that they keep. But my next guy would be Mekhi Wingo, rookie out of LSU. I think he's going to bring the juice in training camp, and he's just going to be something we need there on the passing downs and to provide more interior pressure. I got Mekhi Wingo.
I also have Wingo.
And I also have Wingo. This is another one. Broderick Martin. Dude didn't play a whole lot, was kind of an interesting player for the Lions. He was I believe a 3rd round draft pick by Brad Holmes. and
Western
just
Kentucky.
didn't produce to the max. So I think we give him one more shot. Are you guys leaving off Broderick?
I kept him.
And I left him off. I feel like he's just going to be a casualty this year.
I don't know, man. He's put in a lot of work.
He's kind of my source, though, of the defensive line, where I didn't see enough in his rookie year to believe that he can't be a casualty this year. And I only kept 9, and they've all been said. Yeah, no Broderick Martin. Maybe practice.
So back to John Kaminsky, we can save $2.5 million by cutting him. So if we cut him, and I forget who else it was, that was like $900,000. James Mitchell, that's almost $3 million right there. That's a little over $3 million. So you never know. I don't know if Brad Holmes is a cap wizard, but with all these big signings of, Goff, Amon-Ra, Sewell, next year is going to be pretty tight. But this year, if we can just build up that cap space a little bit more, because surprisingly enough, I want to say we do have like a top 7, maybe top 10-ish cap in the league, maybe even a little bit better. But it's just for this year. So it's like a spend it or it gets eaten up next year. So it'll be interesting to see what we do. And I don't know. I feel like Brad Holmes might be trying to get as much as he can right now.
So have you listed all the players, defensive linemen that you have kept?
I have one guy that I don't think either of you kept, but I think he's going to make the team. And that is none other than, I believe, CFL standout Matthew Betts. We brought him in. He was I want to say he won like the MVP for maybe Defensive Player of the Year for the Canadian Football League, or he was some big time award. He had like 14 sacks, but he straight up dominated over there. And if this dude has a motor and just untapped potential, I think Dan Campbell and even Aaron Glenn are the 2 guys that could get it out of him. And if you're playing with Hutch, Hutch is going to be like, whoa, you're leaving, dude? I'm just starting my second rep. And you're going to get Betts that's thinking, all right, I'll stay for another hour. And I think it's little things like that will, help him make the team.
I love it. My surprise one was I think it's Nate Pecco. It was his first name, Nate. He came from Vegas and Tennessee. He was with Tennessee with the defensive line coach that we just hired from Tennessee, who was coaching the Senior Bowl.
Kyle Pecco.
Oh, Kyle Pecco. That's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, Kyle Pecco. I think he makes his team. I think he is the one that beats out Levi for an interior defensive line spot. But with the way we're doing it, and if we're keeping 10, then the guys that got 2 votes all got in. So that means Onzuwerke, Kaminsky, and Broderick Martin are all in, along with Davenport, Hutch, Reeder, McNeil, Pascal, Wingo, and Houston. Meaning Betts and Pecco did not make our roster.
You're doing a great job there, Nick, because I was like looking at my list. I'm like, how are we going to figure out which 2 make it, which 2 don't make it? So bravo to you on that.
Thank you, Nick.
All right. Linebackers. I kept 5 linebackers. Anyone keep 5 or less? 5 or more?
I got 5.
I've got 6.
Ooh. All right, Julius, we'll have you lead the way then.
Well, I got a good old up-and-comer, Jack Campbell. Returning hero, Derek Barnes. All-around leader of the linebacker room, Alex Anzalone. My main man, Rodrigo, as a reserve. Does anybody leave off Rodrigo?
No,
I didn't.
But he might be.
Yeah, he might.
That's a question. That's why I stopped with Rodrigo, because it's a question. I think he's valuable special teamer still, valuable to come in and pitch. When we got 3 or more linebackers out there, I think Rodrigo stays.
He did have a very important interception in that 49ers game, which, helped us. I want to say it was in the first half, build up that lead. So,
and then I got linebacker 5 also can come in and play and help out on defense, but he's a core special teamer, probably the best in the league. My dog Germ, Jalen Reeves-Maben. So I'm sure that's the 5 you boys had. And then I had one extra. I had one extra for special team reasons. I keep thinking about special teams, and that would be newly signed Lion Ben Neiman, who I believe they gave a 2-year, $6 million, $5 million. I'm not sure. But I think it's enough to say that we want you to come help us and with Germ and Rodrigo and be the best special teams unit in the league.
So Neiman only signed a 1 year, $1.1 million.
Thanks for that's what we need. Fact checking on the spot, Adam. That's what the debate needed.
His cap hit is $985,000. So
he could be a casualty. He could be a casualty, but I'll keep him on. I got him listed on my 6. Reason I don't got 10 defensive linemen like y'all, because I got 1 extra linebacker right there to help him special team.
I like it.
Right.
We on to DBs now, I guess.
Sure.
All right. I guess we're just gonna do total defensive backs. I had 9 total. Anyone have 9 or less? Or
I had 11.
I have 12 DBs.
Well,
oh, wait, yeah, DBs. I have 12.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see who I'm missing out on. But I believe Terrion, Carlton. I'm just gonna do cornerbacks first, and then, well, yeah, I'll do them all. Terrion, Carlton, Kirby, Branch. I think those are like no-brainers. Iffy and Amik, probably the next 2 that are like, yeah, they'll make the team. And then now we get down to the nitty-gritty. I believe Enos Rakestraw makes it. You can't cut a second-round pick, and he just looks like he's Terrion's boy already. But the next couple are interesting. So I kept Emmanuel Mosley. I think we're just going to keep giving him a contract until those knees hold out because, who knows? Could be 4 years down the line. Could be this year. We'll see. And then the one that's cornerback that might be a little bit of a surprise. A lot of people might be like, oh, no. But I don't know. I like this dude, and might just be because he's a friend of the show. But that's Kindle Vildor. And, he had one awful play. And honestly, it came in a game where so much happened in that second half. It wasn't just him. It wasn't just Josh Reynolds. It wasn't just Gibbs. It wasn't just the coaching. It was just the whole team imploded. So I kind of, write that off a bit. And you might think, oh, well, CeeDee Lamb burned him. No. Derek Barnes missed the easiest tackle of all time. And then what did he do later in that game? He forced a fumble on CeeDee Lamb. So I think Vildor is just your typical, cornerback 5, cornerback 6 type of grit grinder, knows the system, played with us for the back half of the stretch, was in the playoff stretch, and I think, has built up some sort of chemistry or bond with Aaron Glenn. And I think that's why he sneaks on this team. So, Kindle Vildor, either of you guys keep him?
I also kept him. He was my last of 11.
All right. My next one, this one's a little bit of surprise. Now, this guy wasn't even on our team last year, but he was 2 years ago. Had to deal with a little gambling problems, and that's none other than CJ Moore. A lot of people may have forgotten about this dude, but he was a special team standout for us. He, I want to say, had at least a couple first down conversions off of fake punts, fake whatever. Maybe a touchdown. I can't remember. I know he had a really sweet one where I think it was against the Seahawks or something, but I was watching it live. And I think there was a reason you bring back a guy who was suspended for gambling onto your team, as well as not just your team, but he was in the same group as JMO, our other guy who was caught gambling. So it's never good to keep, 2 gamblers in the same household unless there's something special about, one or both. And that's what I think it comes down to with CJ Moore. It's like if he was bad enough, we would have just brushed him off. We literally saw what the Lions did with Bugs. He seemed like this was a solid player. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell saw some red flags, knew something. We cut him, and now you see what his story is. So CJ Moore, I do believe he can turn it around. He's a guy that likely hasn't made a whole lot of money. Hopefully realized he's not going to make a career out of sports gambling and has to do it the NFL route, which is probably a little bit easier. But CJ Moore, we both keep him.
I also kept CJ Moore. A lot of the same reasons you said, Nick. Adam.
Yeah. And I believe that is my 9. So I had Terrion, Carlton, Amik Mosley, Rakestraw, Vildor, Kirby, Iffy, CJ, and Branch as my 9. So we still got 2 other spots. Nick, let's see who you got for your 10th. And then if Julius still has his 11th unnamed, which he should, then we'll get to it.
So just to make sure, you said Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, Amik Robertson, Enos Rakestraw, Emmanuel Mosley, Kendall Vildor, right?
Yep.
And then Iffy, Kirby, and more.
Yep.
So that's 10 people.
Oh, is it? Vildor was one of my. You're right. Okay, so
I just wanted to make sure because I was like, I got 12 people.
Yes,
and I got 11. Yeah.
And for our roster, if we're keeping one kicker, one punter, one long snapper, then we can only have 11.
I have 11.
Oh no, we can keep up to 12. We're keeping a bunch of defensive backs. The other two I had, we'll see which one you had, which one you didn't have. I kept Khalil Dorsey, and I also kept what's his name, Brandon Joseph, right?
Yeah.
Need extra safeties, and I like Khalil Dorsey. I think Detroit likes Khalil Dorsey. I know he took out Zylstra's leg last year, but I think the Lions, coaching staff really like him. I think Aaron Glenn does. So that's where we're at. What about you, Julius? Who'd you keep?
Yeah, so I kept 11. I had Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Rakestraw, Mosley, Amik Robertson at corner. Those are my, what was that, 5 corners? 6. And then at safety, I had Branch, Kirby Joseph, Melifonwu, BJ Moore, and I got Brandon Joseph as well. I believe he is going to provide some safety depth that we just don't have right now. And reports out of camp are promising about the kid. And then I had Kendall Vildor at that last spot right there, the 11th spot. Those are my 11. So I had Brandon Joseph. That was my special wild card in there.
Well, we're adding Dorsey to the team because I don't really care too much about going back. So he made it.
that's fair. By luck of the confusion. All right, so we got 3 spots left, right?
We have 3 spots left. We have
punter, kicker, long snap.
We have 50 players right now, so we have a 51, 52, and 53.
Interesting. I have 4 special teamers.
Okay. Oh, then maybe we're not keeping Joseph. We'll see how this works out.
So I guess the big one comes down to
Who's your punter?
Fox.
Oh, okay. Who's your kicker?
Well, no, I'm just kidding. I only kept 3.
Actually, before the kicker, yeah. Who's your long snapper? That's what I meant to say. Scott Daly, friend of the show, of course.
And yeah, I guess it comes down to Badgley or Bates. As you guys know, I've been a small advocate of keeping 2 kickers, but no, I was just messing around. I only have 1 kicker on this squad, and I think we make yet another kicking change and go to Jake Bates, the Michigan Panthers kicker. We give him a shot. I don't know. I feel like we brought him for a reason. But then again, I feel like he would be the safer one on a practice squad as opposed to Badgley. I feel like Badgley is going to get, picked up right away if he, leaves. We saw, I want to say there was, Bates had offers from the Commanders and the Packers. I doubt he would leave the Lions. Well, maybe not doubt, but it would suck to see him leave the Lions practice squad to go join the Packers. Kicking. Oh, that's what it was. The Packers picked up Jacob Turner, I believe, the Michigan dude that we did cut. So it's like if Jacob Turner gets picked up, one of these, Badgley or Bates, will be getting picked up. So Bates is the guy I'm going with. Badgley, nothing wrong with him. And if we do keep Badgley, then I'm totally fine with that. But I like change sometimes. I want to see something different. This Jake Bates guy could be, a diamond in the rough. It wasn't, a kicker from, grade school to pros. He kind of took it up in college, transferred, and now played for the Michigan Panthers, kicked in Ford Field, showed he could kick in Ford Field. I guess the one little question mark is how well he does outside. I didn't really see any of his kicking outdoors. Not even sure if he had any attempts outdoors. I want to say all the games and the UFL were indoor stadiums, but maybe not. I could be wrong. So Jake Bates, I do think we will give Nick. You give me a little I take it that's wrong.
That's wrong, but
I
like it.
Give my points. Jake Bates, that's my guy. Any disputes? Anyone keeping Badgley instead?
Julius?
No, I kept Bates as well. I'm very intrigued by him. I was a fan of James Turner, the Michigan kicker, but when we were able to sign Bates, and then I was thinking of, I think when I mentioned giving Ben Niemann the 2-year deal, I was actually thinking of Jake Bates. He got the 2-year deal. And to me, a 2-year deal means something. So I got Bates coming in. Go Bates.
I also have Bates. He's gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna win it. He's gonna be better than Badgley. So let's go. Bring it on.
So
He's already first on the depth chart, on the unofficial depth chart. He's ahead of Badgley.
I want to see a Jake Bates and Bates Burgers combo be rolled out. Have you guys ever had Bates Burgers?
No, I just think of Bob's Burgers when you say that, though.
All right, so it's a little place in Livonia, and they're like, I don't know, one of them like established in 1958, been cooking burgers. You know, they it's like a little white, tiny little place, but yeah, they have some killer burgers there. I'm sure some of our fans will know what's up, but yes, Jake Bates, he is our kicker, and I believe that is our 53-man roster.
What a good one. What a good one. And Jeopardy next week.
Look at that beautiful roster. We're gonna post it on the page too in like noted format. But it's beautiful. I really like the job we did, guys. We're like Brad Holmes reincarnated.
Now I'll be curious to see if we miss any, or if we hit it dead on. If we get 53, that would be pretty good. I might be sending my application to the Lions training camp next year.
Get me in this
today. Picked correct 53-man roster for 2024 season.
That would be electric, dude. If we go 53 for 53, I'm so happy.
But I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. As always, check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _ Check us out individually at Nick Faber NFL. For Nick, Julius is, of course, the fifth top, and myself, Everyday FFB. And also, too, me and Nick will be representing the Honolulu Blues in the Scott Fish annual fantasy football games. So that will be a fun one. Hopefully, one of these years, one of us can,
good luck this year, boy.
I mean, honestly, though, last year, Nick propelled me into a fantastic team. He gave me this, like, hey, go Tua, Tyreek Hill, this Dolphins route. This offense is going to be, high-powered. And sure enough, I went Tua, Waddle, and Hill, and those were my dudes. I passed on tight end for the entire draft up until the late round, where I was like, I only know one guy, and it's Sam Laporta. So I'm taking Sam Laporta, and he turned out to be a superstar. And then I also took David Montgomery out of my Lions fandom. So we'll see. Maybe I grab Simone Vaki in the last round, and he becomes a superstar.
Ooh, that'd be electric.
But as always, go